morning students, myself Deepa Kulkarni and today I am going to deal with the lesson cell. So that is the fundamental unit of life. So already you are familiar with the lesson that is cell and you have studied in previous classes. So let us know about the cell. So the fundamental unit of life cell, and let us know what is cell. So cell is structural and functional unit and it is present in all the organisms. So how bricks are important for a building, the cell is important for any organism. So let us know who discovered cell. So Robert Hooke in the year 1665, he took the bark of the tree and he observed under the crude microscope. So that time it was not clear, so the cell looked like the honeycomb structure. So each honeycomb structure is called as room or the cell. So in this way the invention or the discovery of the cell was known. Later on the cell theory was developed by Rudolf Virchow in the year 1955. So let us know what is meant by the cell theory. So cell theory is, it states that the cells are made up of all the organisms are made up of cells, and the cell is the structural and functional unit, and all the cells existed from the pre-existing cells. So these are the 3 points to be remembered in the cell theory. So let us know about who invented the microscope. So the microscope was developed by Antoni van Leeuwenhoek and he observed the first time the living cell. So the living cell was observed by Antoni van Leeuwenhoek. Then later on the nucleus was developed by Robert Brown. So Robert Brown, he shown that the nucleus in the cell. So already you are familiar with the structure of the cell and it was shown by Robert Brown. Then later on, depending upon the number of cells in an organism, they are divided into unicellular and multicellular. So uni means unit, single, and multi means multicellular. So a single cell, if it is present, then it is considered as unicellular. So for example, in unicellular you can take bacteria, then as well as some protozoans. Then let us know about example for multicellular, that is plants and animals. So plants and animals, because they consist of more than one type of cells in them. So in this way we learned about what is cell, what is cell theory, and what is the who discovered the cell, that is Robert Hooke. Now let us know about what is the differences between unicellular and multicellular. So as the name indicates, unicellular means it consists of only one cell in them and it will be controlling all the functions of the organism. So let us know about multicellular. Multicellular means it consists of more than one cell in them and it will be controlling all the body functions. So in case of multicellular organism, you can see the division of labor. So what is the meaning of division of labor? Division of labor is nothing but each cell will be performing different functions. For example, the cells which are related to the respiration, they will be performing only respiratory system functions, not any other. So in this way, in multicellular organisms, you can see the division of labor, but in unicellular organism, a single cell will be performing all the body functions. So then what are the other differences? So unicellular organisms are very small in size and multicellular organisms are large in size. So depending upon these, the unicellular organisms are very small in size. That's why we require microscope to view them. But in case of multicellular organisms, they are large in size. That's why we can view without the aid of microscope. So let us know about the structure of cell. What it consists of. So let us know the structure of cell. Already you are familiar with the structure of cell. So let us know. So it consists of mainly in the center nucleus, and this is the cytoplasm. So it is the plasma membrane. So mainly it consists of 3 parts. All the typical cell consists of 3 parts: plasma membrane, then the cytoplasm, and this is the nucleus. So these are the 3 parts, that is plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. Whichever cell you observe, you can observe these 3 parts. These are the main 3 important parts in a cell. So what is meant by plasma membrane? So plasma membrane is the outermost covering in the animal cell. But opposite, in case of plant cell, you can see the outermost covering will be the cell wall. Then next is the nucleus. So what is the function of nucleus? So nucleus, it will be controlling all the body activities. It acts as the brain of the cell. Then next is cytoplasm. So cytoplasm, it is the jelly-like structure where cell organelles are embedded. So this is about the structure of the cell. So the cell mainly consists of plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. So in case of animal cell, you consist of the outermost covering is plasma membrane, but in case of plant, you can see cell wall is the outermost covering in the plant cell. So let us know about the differences between the unicellular and the multicellular. Along with that, we can see the some parts of the cell. So what are the important parts of cell? Okay. So let us know about the important parts. So we know that the cell mainly consists of the 3 parts, that is plasma membrane, then second one is the nucleus, then third one is cytoplasm. So before studying about this structure, let us know the structure and shape and size of the cell. So the cells vary in size, that is in microns. So they are measured in 5 to 10 microns. It can be written in this way. So what is micrometer or micron means? It is 1000th part of a millimeter. So 1 micron is nothing but 1000th part of a millimeter. So next, let us know the shape. What is the shape? So they vary in shape, that is it may be oval or round or branched like nerve cell, branched structure or elongated structure. So in this way the cells vary in shape. It may be oval, round, branched or elongated, and it is measured in micron or micrometer. So if in case of the unicellular organism, they are very small and we cannot see them with the naked eye. That's why we require microscope. But in case of the multicellular organism, the cells are very large and we can see them without the aid of microscope. So in this way, we have studied about what is cell and what is cell theory and how the cell is measured. So it is measured in micron, and 1 micron is nothing but the 1,000th part of a millimeter. So the unicellular organisms are very small and they will be ranging from 0.5 to 1 micron or 2 micron. That's why they cannot be observed without the aid of microscope. But in case of the multicellular organisms, they are larger in size. Even without the aid of microscope, we can observe them. Okay. So this is about the size of the cell. Then let us see about the shape. The cells vary in shape. It may be oval, round, branched or elongated. So for example, even you can see in the spindle shape also. So for example, spindle shape muscle fibers. So the muscle fibers are in spindle shape, and you can see the branched tree-like structure, that is the neuron. So these are the examples for the cells which vary in shape. So let us know about the structure of the cell one by one. So the cell mainly consists of the three main parts, that is plasma membrane. It is the outermost covering and it is semi-permeable. So let us know about the permeability of the cell. So what is meant by semi-permeable? Semi-permeable means which will be allowing only some materials to pass through it. So the permeability means some membrane will allow only few solutes and solvent materials to pass through it, and that is known as the selectively permeable. And semi-permeable means it will allow only some solute particles or solvent particles to move, that is semi-permeable. Impermeable means which will not allow any materials to pass through it. So here the plasma membrane is semi-permeable, means which will allow only some materials to pass through it. So this is about the plasma membrane. And what are the other important functions of plasma membrane? Means it acts as the mechanical barrier. So it protects the cell from any injury and as well as the attack of any microbes. So in this way, the plasma membrane acts as the outermost covering in a cell. So then let us know about the nucleus. So what is nucleus and what is the structure of nucleus and in what way it helps? So this is already we know the structure. So this is the plasma membrane. It is the outermost covering in a cell, and second one is the cytoplasm, the jelly-like structure which is present in the cell. The cytoplasm is the jelly-like material and where you can see the cell organelles. And the next one is the nucleus. It is the main brain of the cell. So this is the structure of the cell. Mainly it consists of nucleus, plasma membrane and cytoplasm. So now let us study about the structure of nucleus. So what are the structure and how the nucleus help us to know about it. So it mainly consists of the outer covering and the small pores are present. They are known as nuclear pore, and inside you can see the nucleolus, and this is the nucleoplasm, and the nucleolus is made up of the RNA. Okay, so this is the nuclear pore. So nuclear pore is nothing but which helps for the exchange of gaseous material. Then you can see the nuclear membrane. So which covers the outermost covering, and it is the, instead of cytoplasm, it is jelly-like structure. It is known as nucleoplasm. So nucleoplasm is also jelly-like structure. So then the nucleolus, the main function of nucleolus is it consists of the RNA which is responsible for the production of ribosomes. So this is the main structure of the nucleus. So the nucleus mainly consists of the part that is the nuclear core, which helps in the exchange of gaseous material. Nucleolus, it consists of RNA and it is responsible for the production of ribosomes. And the nuclear membrane, it is the outermost covering, and the nucleoplasm, where it is like the jelly-like structure will be present. So this is the structure of the nucleus, and what is the main function means the nucleus, it acts as the brain of the cell. So it controls all the cellular activities. So it may be respiration or the metabolism. All these are controlled by brain, that is known as nucleus. Then let us know about the cytoplasm. So what is cytoplasm? The cytoplasm is nothing but it is the jelly-like structure. So neither liquid nor solid, that is known as semi-solid. So it consists of jelly-like structure where these cellular organs or the cell organelles are present. So the cell organelles are nothing but the, for example, the Golgi apparatus and the mitochondria, all these are considered as the cellular or cell organelles. So the cell organelles, they play an important role, and depending upon the type of cell, the cellular organs or the cell organelles also varies. So for example, in case of animal cell, the plastid, it is the cell organelle, it is not present, but in case of animal cell, in case of plant cell, it is present, and in case of animal cell, the plastid is not present. So what is the function of plastid means? It helps in the photosynthesis. So this is about the structure of the cell. So next, let us know about, depending upon the nucleus, how these cells are divided. So depending upon the type of nucleus. So they are prokaryote and eukaryote. So what is meant by prokaryote? So they are divided into prokaryote, first one, and second one is eukaryote. So what is eukaryote? So let us know. So the pro means the primitive nucleus. So without the nuclear membrane, primitive nucleus is present, then it is known as prokaryote. Carry on. Pro means primitive, carry on means nucleus, which will be having the primitive nucleus. It is known as the prokaryote. So primitive nucleus. And what about eukaryote? Eu means true, which will be having true or the definite nucleus. So which consists of the outer membrane is covered by nuclear membrane. So depending upon the type of nucleus present, they are divided into two types, that is prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So let us know the differences between prokaryote and eukaryote. So let us know. So the prokaryote. So prokaryote, they are the cells which will be having the primitive nucleus, and eukaryote, they will not be having the, instead of primitive nucleus, they will be having the definite nucleus. So let us know the differences between prokaryote and eukaryote. So prokaryote, so it will be having the primitive nucleus. So it will be having the primitive nucleus, and eukaryote, it will be having the true nucleus or the definite nucleus. Then second difference is the size. So the prokaryote are very small in size, but as compared to the eukaryote, as compared to the prokaryote, the eukaryotes are larger in size. So that's why the eukaryotes can be seen without the aid of microscope, but these prokaryote, we require microscope to view them. Then the small means it varies in the micron. Already I told you the 1 micron is nothing but 1,000th part of a millimeter. So the third one, the cell organelles. Here the membrane bound cell organelles are absent. So what are membrane bound cell organelles? So they are absent here. Membrane bound cell organelles are absent here. So in case of the prokaryote, but in case of the eukaryotes, the membrane bound cell organelles, that is the mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, all these are considered as membrane bound cell organelles. Okay, membrane bound cell organelles are present. So the depending upon what are these, so the membrane bound cell organelles are absent in case of prokaryotic cell, and membrane bound cell organelles are present in case of eukaryotic cell. Then we can see the prokaryote are they are having the primitive nucleus, means without the nuclear membrane. In case of eukaryote, it will be having the true nucleus with nuclear membrane. And these prokaryotic cells are very small, which cannot be observed without the aid of microscope, but these are larger and we can see without the aid of microscope. And third one is membrane bound cell organelles are absent in case of prokaryote, and membrane bound cell organelles are present. Then let us know the next difference is about the fourth difference is the chromosomes. The chromosomes are only single in case of prokaryotic cell. So the chromosomes are only one in case of the prokaryote, but in case of eukaryote they are more. So chromosome, only one chromosome can be seen, but in case of eukaryote the chromosomes are more in number. So chromosomes are more in number. So in this way we can see the differences between a prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So the another difference also, we can take some examples also here. The differences, the prokaryote, the cell division is very simple, fission here, but in case of eukaryote you can see the mitosis and meiosis. So cell division is here the simple division, that is it consists of the binary fission. You can take the example, and in case of eukaryote you can see the example, that is the method is mitosis and meiosis. Then the example of these prokaryotes are bacteria and protozoans. So bacteria and protozoans. So the protozoan, for example amoeba, euglena, paramecium, all these will come under the prokaryote. And the example here, plants, animals, we can take here as the example, plant and animals. So in this way, the depending upon the type of cells, they are divided as unicellular and multicellular, and depending upon the type of nucleus present in them, they are divided as prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So we understood about the what are the differences between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So prokaryote, it consists of primitive nucleus and they are very small in size, and it consists of the membrane bound organelles are absent in case of prokaryote. The membrane bound organelles are nothing but, for example, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, plastids, all these are known as the cell organelles. They are considered as the membrane bound organelles, and they are absent in case of prokaryotes. And you can see a single chromosome. So you can see the single chromosome in prokaryotic cell, but in case of eukaryote you can see more than one number, that is more than one number in the chromosomes. Then the example for this prokaryote is bacteria and protozoa. So these are very small, we cannot see with the naked eye, and eukaryote, you can see the example, that is plants and animals. So this is about the differences between the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So now let us know about the cell organelles. What are cell organelles and what are the types of cell organelles? So the cell organelles are nothing but which are embedded in the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm, it is the jelly-like structure which consists of the small sub-microscopic structure. They are known as cell organelles. And cell organelles, so first we can study about what are the cell organelles. Let us see the plastids, then the mitochondria, then the Golgi apparatus. So Golgi apparatus or Golgi complex, we can call both. Both are same, Golgi apparatus or Golgi complex. Then next is about the endoplasmic reticulum, that is endoplasmic reticulum. Then next is vacuole. Then about the nucleus already I have explained. So the nucleus also we can consider here. Now we will be knowing about the differences between the plasma membrane and the cell wall. So what are the differences between the plasma membrane and cell wall? So what is plasma membrane and what is cell wall? So the plasma membrane is the outermost covering. So the plasma membrane is the outermost covering in case of animal cell, but in case of the plant cell, the cell wall is the outermost covering. So in this way, the plasma membrane acts as the outermost covering in animal cell, and in case of the cell wall is outermost covering in case of plant cell. So let us know the constituent of this plasma membrane. What are the main components? So the plasma membrane, it is mainly made up of double membrane of lipids and carbohydrates, and it acts as the mechanical barrier, so which will be protecting from the injury or any of these. Then the next one is about the cell wall. So the cell wall mainly made up of cellulose. So let us know the differences between the plasma membrane and cell wall. So mainly the plasma membrane consists of lipids, proteins and some of the other materials, but in case of cell wall, the major component in the cell wall is cellulose. So in this way, the plasma membrane and cell wall components we have learned. Now let us know the differences between the plasma membrane and cell wall. So what are the components of plasma membrane and what is cell wall and where it is present? So let us know the differences between the plasma membrane and the cell wall. So the plasma membrane we can see. Plasma membrane is the semi-permeable membrane. Already I told you that is the semi-permeable membrane, and it is the outermost covering in the animal cell, and in case of the plant cell we can see the cell wall is the outermost covering. So what are the components of the plasma membrane? It mainly consists of lipids, proteins and carbohydrates, but the cell wall, it consists of mainly cellulose and hemicellulose. So the plasma membrane is the outermost covering in the animal cell, but cell wall is the outermost covering in the plant cell. So these are the some of the differences in the plasma membrane and cell wall. So now let us move to the cell organelles. See what are cell organelles. So the cell organelles are nothing but the submicroscopic structure which are present in the cytoplasm. Where they are present means they are present in the cytoplasm. It is the jelly-like structure, and the cytoplasm which can hold these cell organelles very tightly. So in case of the plant cell, you can see the differences between the plant and animal cell. Later on we will be studying. Just one difference I will tell you. The plant cell, it consists of the plastid. So plastid is one of the cell organelle where you can see the different types of the pigments, coloring pigment will be present. And in case of animal cell, you cannot see this plastid. Plastid is absent in case of the animal cell. So let us know about the cell organelles. That is, first we will be learning about the plastid. So what is plastid? It is the largest cell organelle in the plant, and it mainly consists of the coloring material or coloring pigment. So depending upon the type, they are mainly divided into chloroplastid, then second one is leucoplastid, and third one is chromoplastid. So chromoplastid. So let us know about these, where they are present. So these plastids are the cell organelles which are embedded in the cytoplasm, and they are mainly divided into three types depending upon they consist of the colored pigment in them. So let us know the chloroplastid. So it consists of the green color pigment, that is the chlorophyll. So the chlorophyll which is helpful in the photosynthesis. So the chlorophyll which is present in the leaves, it helps in the photosynthesis. Next is leucoplastid. So it is colorless or white in color. You can call that as white or colorless. And you can see these are present for the storage of starch and oil grains. The function of this leucoplastid is the storage of the fat and as well as oil material, starch. Okay. Then the next is the chromoplastid, which will be giving color for the fruits and the flowers. So usually orange. Okay. So if we can take the example, that is orange color, which will be giving color for the fruits and flowers. So in this way, the plastids are the colored pigment which are present in the plant cell, and they are mainly divided into chloroplastid, which consists of the chlorophyll, green pigment, which is responsible for photosynthesis. So already you know photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is nothing but the preparation of the food using the carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, sunlight and water which is present in the environment. And the leucoplastid, they are white or colorless, and what is their main function means storage of starch and oil grains. Okay. Then the chromoplastid, which will be giving color for fruits and flowers. So in this way, the plastid, this is one of the cell organelle which is present only in the plant cell. It is not present in the animal cell. So the plastid, it is mainly divided into three types. So let us move to next one, that is the vacuole. So already we know that the sum of the cell organelles which are present in the cytoplasm, they help in one or the other function. So the cell will be taking up its shape depending upon its function. So the vacuole. So what is the main function of vacuole means it helps in storage. Storage of what? Storage of the food, useful and as well as waste material will be stored in the vacuole, because the plant cell it consists of the very big vacuole. Plant cell consists of very big vacuole. That's why it can store the waste material and as well as useful material in the vacuole. So it consists of the cell sap. What is the meaning of cell sap? Cell sap is nothing but the water which consists of dissolved minerals and salts. Which consists of dissolved minerals and salts in them, and the main function of this vacuole is storage. And in case of plant cell you can see it is very big, and in case of the animal cell it is very small, and it consists of the cell sap. What is the meaning of cell sap? Cell sap is nothing but the water which consists of dissolved minerals in it. So this is about the vacuole. So let us know about the next cell organelle. So that is endoplasmic reticulum. So we can write that as ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum. So the endoplasmic reticulum, it is divided into two types. So endoplasmic reticulum, so in short we can write as ER, endoplasmic reticulum. So it is divided into two types, that is RER and SER. So what is RER? Rough endoplasmic reticulum, and SER, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So let us know what is RER. So why it is called as RER? That is because the outermost surface it consists of ribosomes. So ribosomes are attached at the outermost surface. That's why it is known as RER. The surface is rough. Then next is SER. It consists of smooth surface. That's why it is known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So this is about the endoplasmic reticulum. We can write that as ER, and it is divided into RER and SER. RER it is known as rough endoplasmic reticulum because the surface is made up of you can see the ribosomes are attached on the outermost surface, and SER it is known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So in this way we have studied about the what is cell theory, what are the types of cells, and what are the differences between unicellular organism and multicellular organisms, and what are prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, and we studied about some of the cell organelles. So the remaining cell organelles we can study in the next class. So hope you understood the lesson, and thank you.